Have you ever realized that where you are in your life right now is based on a dream that you had for yourself in the past? In your past, you had hopes, dreams, visions, inspirations that led you to where you are right now. We're so focused sometimes, especially in places like this, on the inspiration of moving forward, of our end goals, of our destinies, of bigger dreams. And we need to stop and honor our past self by honoring where we are in our journey right now. Because you are in a beautiful space that your past self, with all of your past dreams and your past issues and everything that you had going on back then, this is liberation from there. This is what you dreamed of. And we take time to honor our past intentions, those past goals and destinies, and fully embrace and embody the places that we're in now. Just because we have future goals and we want to continue to move forward with life does not mean that we disregard where we are right now. Where you are right now is a beautiful space created just for you and by you. We want to allow your dreams to express. And your future dreams are never going to fully express if we can't recognize when our past dreams have expressed and embody them fully. Where you are right now is what you're meant to embody, what you're meant to live fully, to really put on, to truly take care of with your utmost ability, to appreciate and love and be grateful for to the best of your ability with as much energy as you can muster. Really take on now. Really take on today and be grateful for what you have. There were challenges and lessons that brought you to the space that you're in. And there were also blessings and safety in what you've come into, comparably, specifically. The safety that you have now is probably a lot more than the safety you had in the past. Because where you were in the past, this was the best thing that version of you could dream up. You are the dream, the end result of a past version of you. And that's beautiful. That is so beautiful to be able to grow into a person who says, I've fulfilled my old dreams and I'm fully embodying them, fully caring for them, fully honoring them, and creating new dreams. I am all of time and space, past, present, and future of who I am. And I love all versions of who I've been and who I'm going to be. I love myself now, in this moment as well. Life is a ladder of all of your desires, but the goal isn't to get to the top rung of the ladder. The goal is to get to the right rung for you. The top rung, that could be anything possible to dream of. But is that the one where you're the most comfortable? Is that the one that fully expresses your free will desires? Is that the one where you feel safe, where you have family, where you have community? Is that top rung really the one you want? Or is it one in the middle? Or is it one closer to the bottom, where there's more safety and security and quiet and peace? Think about what you truly want, because it's not always that top rung. And as we go through life, we go and we move from rung to rung. But even if you think about a ladder, ladders are pretty tall. But when you put them up to something, a wall, a roof, wherever it is you're climbing to do what you need to do, you don't always have to be on the top rung to get done what you want done. Sometimes you're standing in the middle of that ladder. Sometimes you're 3/4 of the way up and you're using the little shelf thing to hold your paint can so that you can fully express the colors that you're wanting to express on your walls. You don't have a ladder to stand on the top rung the whole time. You move up, you move down, you move around, and you get to choose where to be according to what it is you're wanting to do, what it is you're wanting to express. So I just want to throw that out there for your consideration, for you to meditate on, for you to think about when it comes to your life, where you're at now, and to fully allow gratefulness and self-love to come into that space. Recently, I lost one of my cats. And you guys know how I am about my cats. I have so many. And this is one that has been with me for over half of my life. He was a real old man, and I loved him. He was one of my emotional anchors. And he just got old, and his body started failing. And this was a week-long process, and I was devastated. I was scream crying. It was very dramatic, but I wasn't dramatic in public, okay? And I lit a candle, and I allowed that candle to burn for about 3 days until I could really sense he was on the other side. And right before he finished crossing over, I felt him say, "I have something for you. You're going to get something out of this." And I was like, "What? If I can't have you, I don't want anything." And I heard the words vestibular oversoul. Vestibular oversoul, that word does not even exist. Like, that's not a real 3D thing that exists. And the interesting thing about what he said, using the word vestibular, is because all of his symptoms leading up to his passing started with what we thought was a vestibular issue. We thought he was dizzy. He was having dizzy spells. He couldn't walk. He kept leaning. We thought he had vertigo until it progressed to other organs. So it was interesting that that was the word he used, vestibular oversoul. So of course, we're into journey work. We're going through this. And I'm going to explain to you how the message of my cat from the other side is important to your life. Let's break those two words apart, first off, your vestibular system and your oversoul. And let's look into each one and what it seems to represent. Your vestibular system is in charge of your balance, your orientation, you being able to know where your body is in space. This is the part of you that keeps you grounded, stable. There's routine, there's touch here with this. This is the where am I and am I safe kind of space. The oversoul is your higher consciousness, your unified consciousness. This is your awareness that connects you to all things. This is, it could be considered, since it's your higher consciousness, it could be considered part of collective consciousness, because your higher consciousness knows more than just the self. Your higher consciousness is unity. And when you're in unity with all consciousness, you simply are consciousness. You simply are source, collective energy. So this is your deeper connections that move beyond words. These are the connections that you have that are like soul connections, which I felt like I had with this kitty cat. Oversoul, vestibular system. If you break those apart, it kind of feels like high spiritual and humanity. But it's both in a connected way, because the vestibular oversoul is the meeting point between your physical sense of orientation and your spiritual sense of belonging. This vestibular oversoul is your inner compass, where your body's balance and your awareness aligns, that meeting point there. This is you knowing where you are in space and in existence. This is your sense of alignment physically, energetically, and spiritually. This is where your body knows where it is and your soul knows where it belongs. I want you to take this mantra and just write it down. Get you a little pen and a piece of paper. I don't know why it's a little pen, maybe a little itsy bitsy teeny pen. I don't know. Get you a pen and a piece of paper, and I want you to write this down. I know where I am, and I'm part of something vast. Because where I am is right here in this room in front of you. And I'm part of something vast. I'm part of something connected. I'm part of something bigger than myself here. I am part of an oversoul. And knowing where my vestibular oversoul lives inside of me helps me learn how to be aligned. Yes, the vestibular oversoul is helping you learn how to align your body, mind, and soul. And we know that only when your body, mind, and soul are aligned can healing actually take place. Can you actually channel the things that you want to channel? This is why quite often I hear people saying, oh, well, I can do this when I'm in session, but when I'm by myself, I can't. And it's because when you're in session, you shut up and relax. You let go and you get deep enough to allow that connection to happen. But unless you're actively aware and focusing on that in your day-to-day life, you might not be aware of how to keep that alignment going. I'm going to use 3 words when I'm talking about alignment for you. The first word is grounded, which you guys hear a whole awful lot about. The second word is awareness. And I'm going to equate the word awareness with the word openness. You cannot be truly aware of something, like all the way through and all the levels through, until you're open. We run into trouble with this one. The third one is the word connected. Grounded, aware, connected. These are the 3 levels of how you reach that full alignment. And this is not like a enlightened moment. You can live your life like this. You can go through all of life, all of your days in alignment using these 3 words. When I think of the vestibular oversoul, I see it like almost like a grid. If you were to take half of a square and put a line in the middle, so there's 3 lines and then the bottom, that's how I see it fitting into our body. It's running along the spine and then coming out in the mind, in the lower body, and the heart. And we have to align those 3 areas to allow healing, to allow things to move through us appropriately. So the word grounded, this is very important. And it's not something that can be skipped because you want to reach the other side, because you want to reach those spiritual levels. You have to care for the body first. This is your diet, your exercise, your physical health. You have to take care of your body. If your body is not healthy, it's very, very hard for your energy to move appropriately. You might notice that because even a mostly healthy person, if they have to have surgery or they go through an accident, during that healing and recovery process, their energy might feel a little off. That's when you need the most clearing, is when you're healing or post-surgery. So your body is super important. You have to make sure that you're exercising, that you have strength in your body, that you're nourishing your body with the foods that it needs. And there's another step to this. You are grounded when you regulate your nervous system. You ever heard that word, I am shook? Like that phrase, I am shook. I am shooketh. That shook me. I am shaken. That is like what it feels like to live with an unregulated nervous system. Things can come in and completely sweep you off your feet in a hurricane, in a little tornado. If you have a regular nervous system, your baseline is not anxiety. Your baseline is not fear. Your baseline is not hyper-awareness. Your baseline is calm. Your baseline is peace. Your baseline might be some level of openness, at least in your physical space. Your base level for your nervous system should be healthy. And nervous system regulation comes through being with nature. It comes through emotional maturity and emotional awareness, letting yourself actually look at your triggers and your anxieties and the things bothering you, because these are all signs that something in your life isn't right. Your body's trying to tell you something. And if we don't listen, then we're living with an unregulated nervous system long term. We need to listen. If we're having anxieties, inner frictions, if things just aren't sitting right, if we're having trouble sleeping because our subconscious is chewing on something, we need to find out what it is it's chewing on. And we need to process that, make decisions, act on those decisions. We need to regulate our nervous systems. We can also do this through release, through breath work, again through exercise, through meditation. There are lots of ways to regulate your nervous system, and that's the first step. Taking care of your body and having a regulated nervous system is step number 1 to alignment. Step number 2 is awareness. And I told you I was going to put this with that word openness, because your awareness, step number 2, is about your sensitivity levels and attunement. When we think about attunement, this is where two things begin to match, right? So if you're having a sensitivity, if you have a sensitivity level, we are allowing ourselves to be open enough to feel what that is, open enough to receive information from the energy around us. This can go both ways, because a lot of you guys are empaths, which means that you have automatic attunement and you're highly sensitive, which means you're probably super connecting to everybody around you all the time, and it gets exhausting because you don't know how to feel them and feel you at the same time without diminishing yourself. It's a whole thing for you guys out there. Or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe you know that you're highly sensitive, so you shut down that space, you close it off, you block your empathy, your sympathy, your true connection, because the love space, that heart space, is where you connect and pick up energy, where you read information and intelligence, energetic intelligence. But this is your connecting space. You can't get to the third level until you're open, until you're aware. And so these all kind of overlap to a certain extent. You have to realize what your sensitivity level is. You have to allow yourself to attune to that, to recognize the information and energetic intelligence that you're picking up. Because that's what you're doing. You're reading energy. You're reading energy from your own mind and emotions. You're reading energy from the people around you. And when you can become aware of the information and intelligence trying to come to you, then you can sift through and decide what is yours to take on and sit with, and what is yours to release. It's not about having to fight the world. It's just about deciding, how much do I hold? How much do I let go of? How much relates to me? How much does not? How much is just extra information? How much do I feel is true to my soul? And how much isn't? I don't believe quite that way. There's so much intelligence and information to be had, and you just get to choose and be in charge of what you believe and hold. The rest can flow through, but being aware of the information and being open to that information, to the sharing of information. You're giving information about yourself also. You're letting people know when you feel safe, when you feel not safe, when you feel okay, when you feel loving, and when you don't. You are sharing information about yourself through your energy as well. And without that openness, other people can't read that from you. The third level is connected. This is your connection, your sense of belonging, your sense of relationship. Honey, I cannot tell you how many spiritual people, because they vibrate at a slightly different level than others, because they see things from a unique perspective, because they're self-aware, how much it sets them on the outside of relationships, how much they feel like they've always been different or they feel alone. You having a sense of belonging is how you align yourself. Your spiritual sense of belonging belongs to the oversoul, not to the vestibular system. This isn't a physical thing. It's a metaphysical thing. You knowing where you belong, feeling that sense of belonging, feeling that sense of connection, having that exchange of information comes from your oversoul. Because you don't just have to know where you fit in here. You belong here. All you have to be aware of within your vestibular human system is, where am I in time and space? Am I grounded or not? Am I safe? Am I stable? Do I have a routine? It's the oversoul that says, and you belong here. And you're part of something bigger. And you're connected to all of us. You're connected to all of consciousness. And you're never alone. This is your sense of belonging. So if you've been leaning more towards thinking, okay, well, I have to depend on validation from others, I have to depend on whether or not I belong in this group, whether people accept me, you're leaning into rejection and abandonment wounds. We want to lean the other way into, where does God say I fit in? Where do I fit in within my higher consciousness, within the collective consciousness? Where do I know that I feel those deep connections? And working on those deep connections is the third level of alignment. And once you're in alignment, everything can flow, healing can take place. It just takes a little bit of awareness, a little bit of practice, and a little bit of consistency. Because connection is relationship. Even if we think of connection in nature, it's a relationship. It's your energy going to it and you receiving energy from it. It's a relationship. It's getting to sit in nature without having to change, and also not asking nature to change. Just acceptance, just love. Because connection is not absorption, it's not responsibility, it's not emotional merging. If you think that connection is taking responsibility for another person or emotionally intertwining with them, I promise you're one of those people who overextends, who shuts down, and who loses their sense of safety. I said what I said. When you can be in relationship with somebody, you are in a middle space. You are in the vestibular oversoul space. This is your body and the other body together. This is where yourself is included in the relationship. This is where the two can exist at the same time. There's not always a merging where only one can exist at a time, or one has to be more powerful at a time. Both of you can exist at the same time. Being able to do your own thing and think your own thoughts and feel your own feelings at the same time. The connection includes yourself. And usually connection only activates when you feel safe enough to stay present. Present with full awareness, with full openness. And that's when we allow connection in. And safety doesn't always have to come from the outside. We know that sometimes your lack of safety is because of your past and you're not being fully present with this person or in this moment. You need to activate that middle space, that vestibular oversoul, by allowing yourself to feel safe enough with somebody else so that you don't lose yourself. You're not reacting from rejection or abandonment, but you're allowing yourself to be yourself when you're with others. That is the only way to truly connect. In fact, stop trying to connect, because if you haven't found a way to connect by now, probably the way you're doing it is it's just not working, okay? So stop trying to connect. Instead, I would say practice staying yourself while with someone else. Practice staying yourself while doing something else. Practice staying yourself when in nature, when someone else is with you. Just practice staying yourself. And that brings you right back to regulating your nervous system. Because when I can practice staying myself, when I'm in alignment with my vestibular oversoul, I'm regulating my nervous system, and I'm open, and I'm part of the higher vastness around me. I'm connected, and it keeps moving and flowing. And so then your vestibular oversoul inside of you is lit up and flowing, and you're receiving information, and you're receiving that feeling, and you're able to channel and manifest. This is the goal for living your day-to-day life in a joyful, open, connecting kind of way, in a very safe and stable way. So we're sending gratefulness to my kitty cat who gave us this message of the vestibular oversoul, because who knew something even existed? I'm Mira Culozzo. Welcome home.